Hi, Yusra.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Good.
Good. Welcome to the office.
Thank you.
So I know last time we talked, you said you wanted to work on self-esteem. Is that still something that you want to work on?
Yep.
Okay. 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 So let's see how we can help you with that. So what are your thoughts on self-esteem? When you say self-esteem, what do you mean by that?
How much you care and like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
How you think about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
How much you respect yourself.
Ah, good. So you have a lot of insight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and you're telling me that you sometimes feel you don't have very strong self-esteem?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I think that's important to have self-esteem, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's try to help you out. Okay, so we're gonna have 15 minutes. We're gonna use our time to get you some strategies to help you with your self-esteem.
Okay.
All right. So tell me about yourself. When you feel like you're not at your best, what are your some of the thoughts that goes to your mind? So what do you think of yourself when you're not at your best?
That I'm ugly.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't respect the people around me.
Okay. Is that okay that I'm writing this down?
Yes.
Okay. Uh-huh.
That I'm just not a good person.
Mm-hmm.
That I can do better.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. So what are the times that you feel like you're at your lowest level of self-esteem? So if we have, let's draw this, okay? So if I have a scale, okay, if there is a ruler, right? So let's say this is a ruler,
Okay.
okay? So here is 0, that means this is a time that you feel at your worst, like having very hard time believing in yourself and being nice and kind to yourself, okay? And 10 is when you are at your highest, okay? You believe in yourself, you believe you're strong, you believe you can do anything, you believe you're the most beautiful girl, okay? So when can you give me an example of times that you are closer to 0?
When I get bad grades.
Oh, okay. Great.
When I make a mistake. I don't focus.
When you can't focus.
Yeah.
These are the times that you're usually closer to 0 and far away from 10.
Yeah.
And what are some examples of times that you're at 10? Do you sometimes feel that you're closer to 10?
Yes.
Okay. Can you give me some example of those times?
When someone gives me a compliment.
Ah.
When I get good grades. I do stuff that I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay. So it seems like there are times that you are closer to 0 and there are times that you're actually closer to 10, right? So it's possible to be closer to 10 for you.
Yeah.
Okay, but you sometimes do a struggle to get yourself to 10. Is that why you're here?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. All right. So I want you to take a look at these sentences that you told me about yourself, right? So you told me that sometimes you tell yourself that you're ugly, okay? And then you tell yourself that you don't respect people around you. And then you tell yourself that you're not good enough. You're not a good person, that's what you said. And then you tell yourself that you can do better, right? Okay, so there is this thing that I want to teach you about, and these are the relationships between, so this is a triangle, and every person kind of falls in the middle of triangle, okay? So this is you in the middle of triangle, okay? So one edge of the triangle, it's the thoughts that we have, right? Everything that goes up in our brain, right? And then these are, on the other hand, these are the actions, everything that we do, right? And then the third part is the feelings. Okay? So these three, they really like to be close to each other and work hand in hand. So what they do, let's say, this is the thought, this is the feeling, this is the action. They always want to keep each other's hand. So thought says something, and then feeling goes based on what thought is telling us, and then action happens based on our feelings and thoughts, and it's just a circle. They go around the circle. They affect each other, right? They teach each other, they help each other, they impact each other. Just like people when we have good friends, and when our good friend is sad, we kind of feel sad.
Yeah.
When some people, when their friends tell them to do something, they do it just because their friend told them to. That's how thoughts, actions, and feelings are. They tell each other how to be, how to feel, how to act, how to think. Okay? And you're in the middle. Every person is going to be in the middle. These three are going to be affecting our life and our decisions and how we feel about ourselves. So if these are the sentences that you're telling to yourself, right? Which one of this is these sentences? Is it at the thought part? Is it the action part? Or is it the feeling part?
Feeling or thought, and both.
Yeah. So they start in thoughts, right? These are the things that you're telling yourself in your brain, right? I don't think you walk around and tell yourself this like out loud, right? Sometimes people do though, but a lot of these happen in the thought up here, right? So I don't feel good about myself, so I tell myself these things that you gave me some examples, okay? And then our thought is going to feed into our feeling. So if you tell this about yourself, how do you feel about yourself?
Bad.
And then if you feel bad about yourself, how do you think you take care of yourself?
I don't.
Right. So some people end up not having good hygiene, don't take care of their body, their brain, they don't spend time with their friends, because they're always thinking, oh, I'm bad, I'm not good, I'm ugly, no one likes me, right? So you see how these three work together?
Yeah.
Okay? So I want to show you magic today. Okay? And the magic happens in the thought part. So if you practice this magic, I promise you we can control the feeling and actions. How cool is that?
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's very powerful. Alright, let's do that. So I'm going to erase this. You know what, we can keep it. Let's use the other side of the border, okay? So, the thoughts. We said we're going to talk and work about the thoughts. Okay, it's a quick magic I'm going to show you. So, on our brain, all these sentences that you're telling yourself, in our world, in the therapy world, we call them ants. We call them ants. And ants is not necessarily these ants, but they work very similar.
Okay.
So when I say ants, I mean automated, negative thoughts. Okay? So these are the ants. So what are these that you told me? Each one of these is what?
Automated negative thoughts.
Each one of these is an ant. Okay? So let's imagine this is your brain. Okay? It's a happy brain, it's a healthy brain, it's a smiling brain. And that's how we want your brain to be. Because that's where all your thoughts is happening. So if we keep this brain happy, everything else, remember feelings and actions, it's most likely that they're going to be happy and healthy too.
Okay.
But if we don't take care of this brain, then we have a problem, right? So I want you to think of these sentences that you told me. Let's just imagine I don't have enough of these hands, that's why I'm using the printout, okay? Let's just imagine you have so many of those thoughts, right? So one of them is that I'm ugly. So that's one end, right? That's a negative thought that you're telling yourself. So that's one end on your brain.
Okay.
And then I'm not good enough. That's another end on the brain, right? And then I should do things better. That's another end on the brain. And then let's see. I'm not a good person. Another end. And last one you told me was I should do better, right? Or I'm not respectful to people around me. That's another end. Now, what is happening to the brain? Do you even see the brain?
No.
What do you see?
It's all covered by bad thoughts.
Yeah, it's all ends on your brain. So if the healthy brain is all surrounded with these ends, do you think it's going to function well?
No.
That's right. So every time that you say something negative to yourself, something bad about yourself, I want you to hold on this end and remember this end, that this is what you're doing. Can you imagine having so many ants on your body, walking on your body?
No.
How would that feel?
Irritating.
Very much. And they're just ants. They don't kill us. They don't do anything to us. But it's just irritating to have them on our body. Just imagine having all those powerful negative ants on our brain. Because that's exactly what's happening. This is not our imagination. You know, our brain has plasticity, which means whatever happens on our brain, all the thoughts and thinkings, they're going to change how our brain is wired. So the physical of our brain changes based on how we feel and think and what we tell ourselves. So every negative thought, every ant is actually going to change your brain. Is it going to change it for better or for worse?
For worse.
Yeah. So that's one thing I want you to remember. Every time you tell yourself something negative about yourself, I want to imagine you are adding an ant to your brain, and your brain is not going to be healthy. So that's not helpful, right? So that's step number one. Step number two is going to help you to actually get rid of those ants, okay? Because that's the important part. We don't want to keep those ants on our brain, right?
Yeah.
So thoughts sometimes can come to our brain, but our role is to see if we want to keep them on our brain or not, okay? So that's step number two. We are going to actually examine these thoughts. We're going to see if they're actually true. Because if some of the thoughts are true, maybe we have to change them, right? But some of them are very likely not to be true. Okay, so this is our true part. This is our not true part, okay? Okay. So let's take a look at the first first ant that you gave me. You said you tell yourself that you're ugly. Do you think that's a true thought or not true thought?
Not sure.
Have you ever had anyone that told you you have a beautiful eyes?
Yeah.
What else have you heard people telling you?
That I always smile.
Yeah, that you have a nice smile. I've heard people saying that to you. So if people tell you you have beautiful eyes, you have very nice smile, do you think you're ugly?
No.
Okay, so probably that thought is not true. So we're going to put it in not true section. Okay? So every time you tell yourself that you feel like you're ugly, you want to do this and think about it. You don't have to do it on paper. If you do it on paper, it's good. But sometimes you don't have paper with you, but you can kind of look into it in your brain. Am I really ugly? Right? So that's not true. How about I don't respect people around me? How true or not true is that?
Maybe in the middle.
Okay, so sometimes you do respect people around you, sometimes you don't. Okay, so what does that tell you? So this is an ant. So we definitely don't want it on our brain. So we have to make some decision about it. What are some decisions we can make about this one?
Like how I don't respect people?
Yeah, so if you are in a situation where you feel like you don't respect someone, you're not respecting someone, Can you catch yourself and tell yourself, hey, you're not being respectful now? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what can you do about that one?
You can treat people better.
Okay. So that's a learning opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And instead of you telling yourself and creating this and telling yourself, I don't respect people, is it true all the time? No, I'm sure it's not true all the time, because I've seen people giving you a lot of compliments because you're helpful and you take care of you and your kids and you offer to help. So sometimes it might be true. In that cases, you have to catch yourself and be respectful to people, right?
Yep.
And if it's not true, if it's not happening in the moment, why do you even tell this to yourself? Is it helpful to tell yourself that you're not respectful to others? Is it gonna solve any problem? Is it gonna make you a more respectful person? No. What is gonna happen? It's gonna just be an ant on your brain.
Yeah.
Right? So that one, we kind of learned that we can either get rid of it, or if you're actually not being respectful, we have to change our behavior. Right? Yeah. Okay, next one. Not a good person. I'm not a good person. Is that the truest statement about your strong? What does not a good person look like? What do they do? How do you know we're not a good person?
You don't follow directions or do stuff that you're supposed to or not supposed to.
And that makes you a bad person?
Maybe not bad, but like maybe those are things that you can work on.
Okay. So I'm not a good person. Is this a statement true about you, Astra? No. Okay. So how can you change that sentence?
I can be a good person, or I am a good person.
You are a good person. Sometimes you might make a wrong decision, and everyone does that. Even adults do that, right?
Yes.
But the key here is to figure out, oh man, I made a bad decision. I need to fix it.
Yeah.
But that bad decision doesn't make me a bad person, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and last one, do better. I can do better. What do you think about that sentence?
That maybe when I say that to myself, I'm not at my highest point. I'm not at 10.
True. You're not at your 10. You're closer maybe to 0, right? You're farther away from 10. So what can you do about that one? Because that's an ant. We want to have 0 ants on our brain.
Yeah.
And that is an ant. So what do we do about that one?
We can try to fix our mistake. Like if you did bad on the test, you can make it up, and then you do better.
And there are times that you did your best,
but you just don't think you did your best.
Right. So there are times that, let's say there is a low grade that you got, but you know 100% honest to yourself, you did the study, you did do your homework, you did all that you could do. But for whatever reason, the test was not a fair test, or you were not feeling well at the time, but you know you did your best, right? Still, the bad grade that you got is going to tell you you did not do your best. But if you have done your best, what do?
Then you tell yourself that you did the best that you could do.
Yeah. And then that way there's no ant on your brain. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think it could help you kind of see how you can have ants on your brain and how to get rid of the ants? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what we did today. That was a magic trick that we did today. We kind of learned that we tell ourselves some stuff that is going to hurt our self-esteem, right? It's going to bring our self-esteem down. So when we look at the ruler that we had, it's going to take away our feelings and our actions from 10 and go closer to 0, right? And we always want to be closer to 10,
yeah.
Right? So in order for us to have a good self-esteem, we need to, number 1, know that there are some ants that we're creating on our brain, right? Because every negative thought, it's an ant. and then that we need to get rid of those ants. And the magic trick is to kind of really listen to ourselves and all the sentences and statements that we tell ourselves, and write them down and think about them. Are they actually true, or just because I'm feeling down right now, I feel like they're true, but in reality they're not true, right? So that, do you think it's magical if you learn to use it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can keep your ant. I want you to always be reminded of the fact that you might have ants, and it's normal to have ants. But it's not good and healthy is to keep those ants on our brain. So we want to get rid of them. And remember, we want to get rid of the ants because they are the thoughts. Remember the triangle?
Yeah.
Thoughts, feelings, actions. So if you can stop and control the thoughts part,
then it affects the feelings and the actions.
yeah, then you start to feel good about yourself, and then you do good stuff for yourself or people around you, because when you're energetic and happy, that's when you can be at your best for everyone else around you too. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that was helpful?
Yes.
Is that something that you can do on your own?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts with me. I know it's not easy to share thoughts with everyone. I know we always have a lot of thoughts, but we have enough power to work on our thoughts, right?
Yeah.
All right. I hope you have a good day.
Thank you.